Your team just lost, and somehow it feels personal, not disappointing, not unfortunate. Personal, like something was taken from you, like you specifically just failed at something. But you didn't play, you didn't miss the shot, you didn't concede the goal. You sat on a couch or stood in a crowd and watched 11 strangers do something you had zero control over. So why does it feel like it happened to you? The answer isn't really about football at all. It's about something much stranger happening inside your identity, something that reveals how thin the line actually is between you and the things you love. Psychologists call it BIRGing and CORFing, and once you understand these two terms, you'll never watch a match the same way again. BIRGing stands for basking in reflected glory. Researcher Robert Cialdini first documented this pattern in the 1970s, studying how college students behaved after their school's football team won or lost. After a win, students were far more likely to wear team merchandise, use the word "we" when describing the result, and openly associate themselves with the team's success. We won, our team is the best. But after a loss, something flipped almost instantly. Students distanced themselves. They stopped wearing the jersey. They switched from "we" to "they." They lost, not "we lost." Cialdini called this second pattern "corfing," cutting off reflected failure. Here's what's strange about this. The team didn't change. The players didn't change. Only one thing changed, whether admitting connection to the team helped or hurt the way you saw yourself, which raises an uncomfortable question. If your language shifts that easily depending on the outcome, how much of your identity was ever really about the team, and how much was about protecting your own sense of self? Psychologist Henri Tajfel's social identity theory offers the deeper explanation. Tajfel proposed that a significant part of your identity isn't built from your individual traits alone. It's built from the groups you belong to, your nationality, your religion, your school, your favorite team. These aren't just preferences. They become part of your self-concept, woven into how you answer the question, "Who am I?" When you say, "I'm a Manchester United fan," or "I support Brazil," you're not describing a hobby. You're describing a piece of your identity. Which means when that team loses, your brain doesn't just process it as bad news about strangers playing a game. It processes it as bad news about you. This is where things get even stranger. Researchers studying sports fandom have found that watching your team lose activates some of the same physiological stress responses as personal failure. Elevated cortisol, increased heart rate. In some studies, measurable drops in testosterone among male fans, the same hormonal pattern seen in animals that lose status-based confrontations with rivals. Your body isn't just registering entertainment gone wrong. It's registering a threat to your social status, even though you never left your seat. Psychologist Daniel Wan has spent decades researching what's called team identification, how strongly a person's sense of self is fused with a sports team. His research shows that highly identified fans experience genuine self-esteem fluctuations tied directly to their team's performance. Win on Saturday, and fans report measurably higher self-esteem on Sunday. Lose, and that number drops, sometimes for days, which means, in a very real sense, some portion of how you feel about yourself this week is currently being decided by the athletic performance of people you've never met. There's an evolutionary explanation underneath all of this. Anthropologists studying tribal and group behavior have long noted that humans evolved in small, tightly bonded groups where your survival depended entirely on your group's success. If your tribe lost a conflict over territory or resources, that wasn't abstract news. That was potentially your food supply, your safety, your future. Your brain never fully updated for a world where your tribe can now mean a football club you've never physically visited, run by people you've never met, competing for something with zero actual survival consequences. As far as your ancient threat detection system is concerned, a loss is still a loss. Status is still status. And somewhere deep in your nervous system, a part of you still reacts like your tribe just lost the hunt. This also explains something that seems almost irrational from the outside. why fans sometimes turn hostile after a loss, why rival fans feel like genuine enemies rather than strangers who happen to like a different color jersey. Your brain isn't overreacting randomly. It's running ancient software built for tribal survival on modern sporting events it was never designed to process. So the next time your team loses and you feel that specific personal sting, understand what's actually happening underneath it. You're not being irrational. You're not being dramatic. You're experiencing one of the oldest psychological mechanisms your species has ever developed, quietly convincing you that 11 strangers on a field are, in some very real sense, an extension of who you are. The scoreboard says they lost. Some deeper, older part of you insists you did too.